Right, okay, so we're moving on now to the second speaker of the evening. Now the second speaker is a great guy. I've known him for some time. He's been the chair of London Yes Group. He done a magnificent job of London Yes Group chair. He really got things moving along there. He's also involved with a property business, quite a substantial one I understand. And he works with an organisation called Sales Partners, which is run by Blair Singer, and he's one of the lead partners in that particular franchise here in the UK. So if we could have a really warm welcome, please, for a good friend and a great speaker, Mr. Mac Attram. Please.
Am I on?
You're on.
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear. Thank you. So good evening. Good evening, Yes Group Essex. Hello. Just before I start, how many of you, just want to gauge who's in the room, how many of you are in business currently, running your own business of some sort? Thank you, just under half. And how many of you are not in business? Okay, good. Okay, not running your own business I'm talking about. Is that okay? It's a lot of feedback. Yeah, it's probably better if we have, you think?
Yeah.
Let's go, let's stretch my voice. How's it now?
Yay!
Let's do that, that's okay. Okay, so I wanted to gauge that so I can gauge my talk so that it becomes more relevant. So I'm going to balance, I do a lot of business talks, sales talks, but I'm going to balance the two. So everybody gets something this evening. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you. So I want to say thank you first of all. I want to say thank you to the team, Alex, Agnish, the whole lot, Mark, everyone really for inviting me to speak here this evening. It's been over a year, I've been asking for a while, but suddenly I've made it down here. I had another training to do this afternoon. I drove down around the M25 and got here just in time. So I'm really looking forward to this talk. And also, I want to acknowledge you. I want to acknowledge you for being here this evening. Because one thing I realise is this. I'm sure you could be somewhere else doing something totally different this evening. How many of you could be somewhere else doing something totally different this evening? Thank you. And how many of you are still thinking of that place? Thank you. So my commitment to you is this. In the time I'm going to be up here on stage, I think about 45 minutes, I'm going to give you as much value, as much of my energy as possible, that you get real value, real content before I come on stage. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Thank you. So today my talk is going to be about, I'm going to balance it between business and personal success, as I said. And so for those who are in business, I'm going to share with you 6 key steps for building a great and effective business that I've used to my own success, and I'll share that with you very shortly. And also I'll be sharing with you everyone in this room, your number one asset, the number one asset that you have, which if not managed can be public enemy number 1. I'll be sharing with you what that is and how you can really take management of that. I'll also be sharing with you, for those in business also, a sales process. A sales process, a very effective sales process, which works in this economy. Even if you're not in sales, and you can use that to your own way really to win other things, not just monetary or business. So are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So some of you know me, and some of you don't. So for those who don't know me, would it be okay to take a few moments to share with you who I am, what I've been doing, and why I'm standing in front of you this evening. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Great to know. Thank you. So, as Mark said, I'm an accomplished entrepreneur, but some of you may know me from T. Harv Ekker's Millionaire Mind Intensive. I'm part of the international training team of T. Harv Eker. He runs an event called Millionaire Mind Intensive. How many people have heard of that? Oh, look at you. How many of you have attended? Okay, very good, very good. I highly recommend attending that if you get a chance to. A couple of years ago I was asked to join that team to speak. So last year I was involved in training over 12,000 people in over 6 countries around the world. So I'm very privileged to be part of that team. I'm also part of another international team called Sales Partners, which is what I'm going to be, some of the content I'll be sharing with you today. And as part of that, I'm business partners with a chap called Blair Singer. How many people have heard of Blair Singer? Oh, right, quite a few of you. Fantastic, good. For those who haven't heard of Blair Singer, he is, how many of you have heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Robert Kiyosaki, yes? Thank you. He was Robert's very first Rich Dad advisor in the area of sales, leadership and communication. Yeah, so Rich Dad, Poor Dad. How many of you have read this book? Oh, fantastic. How many of you haven't read this book? Okay. For those who have read it, would you highly recommend this?
Yes.
This is a game changer. This is a life changer. Would you agree?
Yeah.
It's a must. It's a must. It's been on the New York bestseller list for over 6 years now. In the top list, so it's worth checking out. So I'm part of that international team. What we do is we help businesses increase their sales anything from between 15 and 85% in a matter of weeks, using the methodologies and the techniques that we teach. And I'll be sharing some of that with you this evening. But before I got involved with these international groups and working with Hart and working with Blair as a business partner, I was running my own businesses. Some, for many years, and some to great successes, some to great failures. So I've been through the whole raft of. But I want to share with you, I came to a stage in my life. Many years ago, I was running an IT company, computer company, doing web design, that kind of stuff. And I set that business up because I wanted to be in charge of my own time, my own destiny, all that kind of stuff. And it transpired that I actually created a job for myself. How many people know what I'm talking about here? Yeah. And I started working long hours. My wife wasn't seeing me. And we had another baby coming on board. And I'm working 17, 18 hours. I can't sustain this. This is unsustainable. Something has to change. So I went out and sought some of the best trainers, mentors and teachers from around the world. I traveled and I went and learned from them. And for the first time, I've been in personal development for many years, and the first time I started implementing things. How many of you have ever been to a personal development event and actually never done anything with the content that you got? How many of you got books sitting at home, sitting on the shelf that you're waiting to read? I think someone was sharing, it's called, it's not self-development, it's called what? Shelf development. Shelf development. So that's where I was, but I started implementing these strategies that I was learning in business, and something suddenly started to change. Something magic started to happen. Someone say, Matt, what was that magic? What happened was that for the very first time in my business, when I started implementing it, I started getting results. And so much so, I went and sold my IT business, and I focused on my real estate property business. And I built that to a multi-million-pound property business and allowed me to financially retire, if you like. And so, taking on the knowledge, it's important to apply the knowledge. Yes, who would agree? Very good. So I'm going to be sharing. How many of you would like to know some of the techniques I use to do that?
Yeah.
You would. Okay, that's kind of stuff. So it's business and personal, as I said. I'll be sharing some of that with you this evening. Ready to get started?
Yes.
Very good.